Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be combining like terms using expressions. Expressions and equations are different because in an equation we have our expression equal to a value, and that allows us to solve for a variable. Here we don't know what this is equal to, so we can't solve for a variable, but we could simplify. So in order to simplify, we have to find our like terms. So my first term here is 3z. And we know that it's positive because there's no negative sign in front of it. And the 2 has no variable. It doesn't have the variable z, so it's not like term. But our negative 4z does. Now remember, minus 4z, negative 4z, it's the same thing here. And then here we have negative 5, and we can't combine that with anything with z's. So here we have 3z and negative 4z, and in our expression, these are the only two like terms. So we're going to combine them. 3z minus 4z, my signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So when I subtract, I get 1z or z. I don't have to put the 1 in front of it. And because the number with the greatest absolute value is negative, our z in this case is negative. And then here we have a positive 2 and a negative 5. And these are like terms. They're both constants. And same thing, all I'm going to do is combine them. Positive 2 and a negative 5, their signs are different, so I'm going to combine them. And because the signs are different, I'm going to subtract. So I get 3. And the number with the greatest absolute value is our 5, so it's going to be minus 3. So here I have our simplified expression, which is negative z minus 3. So instead of having 4 terms, it's simplified to only having 2 terms. So we're going to do the same thing for our second expression here. We're going to combine all our like terms. My first term is 2y. So I'm going to identify everything that's a like term here. So I have 2y, I have negative 5y. This positive 5 is not a like term. This positive y is, and this positive 6y is as well. And this negative 7 is not. So here I have 2y minus 5y. And if I combine these two, I get negative 3y. And then here if I combine this positive y and this positive 6y, I have 7y. And now I still have these two terms and I need to combine them again. So negative 3y, and this is a positive 7y, so negative 3 plus 7. The signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So when I subtract, I get 4y. And the number with the greatest absolute value is our 7, so therefore the 4 is positive. Here in my second expression, I also have positive 5 and I have negative 7. And positive 5 and negative 7, the signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So 7 and 5, if I subtract that, I have 2. And since the number with the greatest absolute value is negative, I actually have negative 2. So here I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 6 terms, and that simplified down to 2 terms. All right, so I'm going to erase that so it doesn't become confusing. All right, so now I have my first term is 5x. I'm going to combine everything that's alike. So I have 5x, I have negative x, and I have positive 4x. So these 3 terms are alike. So I have 5x minus x. Remember that that's 1. So 5 minus 1 is 4x. And then I have 4x plus 4x is 8x. And that's it for that one. And now I'm left with a positive 2 and a negative 5. The signs are different, so I subtract. And the number with the greatest absolute value is 5, so it's minus 3. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, and that simplified down to 2. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll always get 2 terms when we simplify. So here in my expression for number 4, I have my first term here is 6r, and I could combine that not with 3x, even though these both have a variable, they're not the same variable, so I can't combine them. But I could combine it with negative 4r, and those are the only 2 terms I could combine in this expression. So 6r minus 4r is 2r. And now I have positive 3x and positive 7x. If I combine those two, I have 10x. And then I'm just left with negative 2, and there's nothing to combine that with, so I'll just write negative 2. So here I started off with 5 terms, and I managed to simplify it down to 3. And that's it. Just make sure you look for terms that are alike, you combine all of them, and that simplifies our expression to make it easier to work with.